Hey guys, Arin Darcan here. First video of 2022. Super excited to be here. Super excited to speak to you about what I'm going to speak to you about today. And I just want to wish you a happy new year. And I really hope that your business or whatever you're doing in life grows substantially this year and you do really well. I wish you prosperity and health. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's jump straight into it. The first thing I want to talk to you about is everything being your fault. I know that's not easy to always grasp, but it's the best mindset to have. And what I mean by this is it's very easy to play the victim when something doesn't go right. If an employee steals from you, if you get your Facebook ads account shut down, there are so many things that can happen that it's easy just to say, oh, it wasn't my fault. You kind of just throw your hands up in the air and you're just like, oh, it's not my fault. Like the universe is horrible. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. And that's just kind of toxic. You're much better off thinking, okay, it's my fault. What could I have done differently? When your Facebook ads account gets shut down, what could you have done differently to stop that? If you start asking, what could I have done differently? How could I have stopped this? And you accept it's your fault, then it allows your brain to come up with solutions. The problem is if you tell your brain I'm a victim and I couldn't have done anything about it, then your brain won't try to think of solutions and it'll just keep happening again and again and again. Even if someone's like tricked you and scammed you in some way, there's a way that you could have avoided that. Obviously, for someone to scam you, you'd have had to trust them. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean you don't trust anyone. It just means that maybe you've got to be more selective about who you trust to stop this sort of thing from happening in the future. So if you accept that everything's your fault, then that's a great mindset to have to try and fix the problems in your life rather than just being a victim of your life. And I know it can get quite difficult to have that mindset when it gets a bit kind of darker and you're talking about certain illnesses happening to you and whatever else, but it's still the best mindset to have because at least that way it's going to make you think, how can I get out of this, rather than just laying back and saying, oh, I'm done with this. And tons of people have spoke about this before. It's a very common thing amongst successful business owners, entrepreneurs, things like that. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is because it is really important. And to give a real life example of this, we've had clients in the past where we've laid out boundaries, we've set up the relationship to be the correct kind of relationship. I did a video about this before actually, which I don't know where it appears, but I'll put a link to it somewhere around here. And we do everything right. Well, we think we've done everything right. And for example, we'll say, we're not available on weekends. This has happened before with us. We'll say we're not available for communication on weekends. We work Monday to Friday and it's very clear. They signed a contract. We've explained it to them on the call. They've confirmed, yeah, that's fine, no problem. And then they'll send us emails and text messages on the weekend. And then on Monday morning, they're like, hey, I sent you an email at Friday at 11 p.m. and you still haven't responded. It's Monday 9 a.m. now. It's been like 2 or 3 days and you still haven't responded. What the hell? And we're like, it's so easy in that situation to be like, dude, what are you talking about? We've literally wrote out a freaking thing in the contract. We've explained everything properly. You've confirmed that you understand that we don't work weekends. Why do you think that it's okay to have complain about us not replying on Friday night on Monday morning when it's technically there's been like no time because we don't work weekends? What do you mean? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. Easy to say that. Easy just to say it's not my fault. Like the client's an idiot. The client didn't read properly. The client's lying. So easy to say that. But how does that help me? How does that help my company? It doesn't. It just means that it's going to happen again at some point in the future. And we have to go through the exact same thing again. And yeah, so to protect my ego, to protect my pride, oh, it's the client's fault. Oh, it's not my fault. It's so easy to do that. And everyone's so fearful of their pride and their ego being hurt. So the actual key here is to say, right, how is this my fault? What could I have done differently? Maybe on the onboarding call, if I listen back to it, maybe I wasn't clear enough about it. Maybe in the contract, there's a part, but maybe it's not entirely clear exactly that it means, even though we say no working weekends, maybe they think, oh, well, you say no working weekends, but that doesn't mean about communication. You just mean working on the Facebook ad account. That's what it could be. It could be any reason. So the best thing to do is accept that, okay, this is my fault. Even though it's easy from an outsider point of view to say that it's the client's fault, it's my fault. What could I have done differently? Maybe I need to make the contract clearer. Maybe on the onboarding call, I need to make it clearer. Maybe what I need to do is set up an automatic out of office email. So every time someone emails us on the weekend, it automatically bounces back saying, hey, just to remind you, as we discussed in our onboarding call, we won't be replying until Monday because we don't work weekends. That could be the solution. That way then they get the email, they send it out, maybe it goes on at Friday 6 p.m, 5 p.m, whenever it is. The email goes out and then the email gets bounced back to them saying, hey, we don't work weekends, just so you're aware, we'll get back to this on Monday. That way then they don't feel like we're ignoring them. It reminds them like, oh yeah, they did say they don't work weekends. And all of a sudden this like built up rage that appears on Monday morning isn't there anymore because it's dissipated. Dissipated? I think that's a word. It dissipates. Yeah, dissipated. Dissipates. As soon as the email's sent, And so on Monday morning, it's all the rage is gone and the client's still happy. And so if I didn't have the mindset of how is this my fault, my brain would have just turned itself off. It just wouldn't have thought of any new solutions to the problem. And it would have just allowed the same clients, the same type of clients, to keep coming back and to keep having problems with us not working on weekends and us losing clients over silly little things like that. But now I accepted the fault is of my own, my brain goes into problem solving mode. It starts to think, right, okay, what could we have done differently? What mistakes did we make? And then it starts to come up with solutions like the automatic email response, and all of a sudden it solves the problem now and we have barely any clients complaining about the no weekends thing anymore. And every time it does happen, even if there is another client that happens, still I'll think it's my fault, what can I do? There is one caveat to all of this, from my experience. You don't want to be changing your systems to suit 1 in 1,000 clients. There are some clients, I'll say 1 in 1,000, that are just batshit crazy. They're just nuts. It just doesn't make any sense. And if you start changing your systems to cater for these batshit crazy clients, you're gonna actually negatively impact the whole business. Because maybe, for example, the no working weekends, maybe what I say is to that one client, I tell you what, we're actually gonna work weekends. That's the solution I've come up with. We're actually gonna work weekends now. All of a sudden, my project managers and my team now don't get a break anymore. Just because one client has a problem with it. The rest of my clients are absolutely fine with it. They all understand it. Maybe there's a few more before the automatic emails, but now we've got the automatic emails. All my clients understand it apart from one. And now that one client, we say, sorry, the whole team, you've got to now work weekends. That's the only solution I can come up with for this. We've got it in the contract, we've got it in the relationship building part, we've got it in the automatic emails. This client's still getting annoyed. Okay, cool, like we're just gonna have to work weekends now. And obviously all of a sudden my team get overworked, they're not focusing properly and they make other mistakes now in the company. Maybe the copywriting isn't good enough. Maybe they're late to meetings because they're too tired or something. I don't know, whatever it could be. And overall, the whole service just goes down a level. The whole company stops performing as well because this one client wants the communication on weekends. So there is a boundary to it. There are some times where it's like, no, like that's not acceptable, we have to leave it. But 99% of the time, you need to have the mindset of that it is your fault and what you could have done differently. But like I said, you need to have the mindset that it's always your fault, and that's the way you can get your brain into problem solving mode and to make sure you can keep improving your service, making your clients happier, and just your whole business just succeeding a lot better because you're now trying to solve problems rather than just wipe them away because you don't want to deal with it anymore because you think you're a victim. Except if there's that one batshit client and they're causing you all sorts of problems and they're actually lowering the whole service because you've had to put new stuff in and overwork your team or whatever, then fire them. You can't please every single person, but 99% of the time, everything's your fault and you should always treat it like that. So I hope this video made sense. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I've also got a new kind of mini video series where every single day, Monday to Friday, I'm doing a quick 5-minute video about my day, how it went, and essentially what I'm aiming for is a $1 million per month by the end of this year. That's my aim. At the moment, my new business, Team Follow Up, we're at, I don't know, a couple of $1,000s a month, nothing crazy. And I want to try and grow that to $1 million a month by the end of this year. So it's a very audacious goal, but I'm gonna go for it. We'll see how far we can go with it. I'm super excited. Check out the other video series about what I'm doing every single day. And I'm doing it because I think it'll be really cool to kind of document the experience and what I'm doing. And yeah, I just think it'll be cool to look back on in a few years' time and see how it all went. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.